From the international arena, well, a CBS News report reveals that Pakistan, while it played a diplomatic conduit between Tehran and Washington, reportedly allowed Iranian military planes to use its airfields as parking, following the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East, potentially shielding them from American and Israeli airstrikes. Tehran also parked some of its civilian aircrafts in neighboring Afghanistan, though it was not clear if military planes were among those flights. Sources told the American publication that Tehran moved several of its key defense assets to Pakistan Air Force Base in Noor Khan, located just outside of Rawalpindi. The strategically important military installation located near Islamabad provided a secure shelter for Iran to protect its military and aviation assets, while Pakistan officially mediated truce efforts between Tehran and Washington. Among the military hardware that was sent to Pakistan was an Iranian Air Force RC-130, a reconnaissance and intelligence gathering variant of Lockheed produced C-130 Hercules tactical transport aircraft, and the report states all of that. U.S. officials with knowledge of the matter told CBS that aircrafts were sent to Noor Khan Air Base days after President Trump announced the ceasefire with Iran in early April. Let's read out this report comprehensively to give you an understanding on what it is that we are referring to and why has it become the talk of the town. So, of course, CBS had put out this news as an exclusive piece. It's right there on your screens, and let me quickly tell you the headline with which they have spoken about it. Pakistan allowed Iran to park military aircrafts on its airfields despite mediator role in the U.S. conflict. The authors of this article are mentioned right over here: James Laporta, Jennifer Jacobs, and Sami Yousafzai. Now, what's mentioned over here is as follows. As Pakistan positioned itself as a diplomatic conduit between Tehran and Washington, quietly allowed Iranian military aircraft to park on its field, potentially shielding them from American airstrikes, according to U.S. officials with knowledge of the matter. Iran also sent civilian aircrafts to park in neighboring Afghanistan. It was not clear if military aircrafts were among those, two officials told CBS News. Together, the movements reflected an apparent effort to insulate some of Iran's remaining military and aviation assets from the expanding conflict, even as officials publicly served as brokers for de-escalation. The U.S. officials, who also spoke only under conditions of anonymity to discuss national security issues, told CBS News that days after President Trump announced the ceasefire with Iran in early April, Tehran sent multiple aircrafts to Pakistan Air Force Base Noor Khan, a strategically important military installation located just outside of Pakistan's garrison city of Rawalpindi. Among the military hardware with the Iranian Air Force RC-130, a reconnaissance and intelligence gathering variant of the Lockheed C-130 Hercules tactical transport aircraft as well. U.S. Central Command referred CBS News to Afghanistan and Pakistan officials for commenting. And a senior Pakistan official rejected the claims involving Noor Khan Air Base. That's what they've told the CBS News, that the Noor Khan base is right in the heart of the city, that is Rawalpindi. A large fleet of aircrafts parked there can't be hidden from the public eye, according to the Afghan civil aviation officer who has spoken to this publication. An Iranian civilian aircraft belonging to Mahan Air landed in Kabul shortly before the war started. After Iranian airspace was closed, the aircraft remained parked in Kabul airport. Later, when Pakistan began airstrikes on Kabul in March, during the tensions with the Taliban-led government over allegations that the Afghanistan Taliban was offering a safe haven to the group, the Taliban's civil aviation authorities decided to move the aircraft to Herat airport near the Iranian border for safety reasons, to protect it from possible bombing of Kabul airport by Pakistani jets. And this is what the article, the exclusive piece that the CBS has come out with, has stated. Like I told you, the headliner is Pakistan allowed Iran to park military aircrafts on its airfields despite mediator role in the conflict with the U.S. Major General Sanjay Soy, defense expert, joins us on the broadcast to give us his perspectives. Of course, this report has come out And what is essentially trying to get at is the fact that Pakistan allowed Iran to park military aircrafts at a time when it was playing the mediator's role. If this were to be true, what could perhaps take place next?
Yeah, very, very interesting development. In fact, I would say that this media report is, from military point of view, from intelligence point of view, from strategic point of view, is very, very surprising because Pakistan has allowed, that say, though they don't have much credibility as it is in international arena, but they would not, I think they would not like to take a go against US at the moment. They don't have power and they are totally sold out, and whatever US is telling them to do, they may not like to risk their relationship with US at this moment. And I would say that if these aircrafts were parked before the war started, it was agreed. But since they have been told that they were parked and they were sent here after the ceasefire was declared in April, I have my doubts in this report because US also has a CIA. They are also monitoring the flight paths of Iranian aircraft, especially a military aircraft taking off from Iran and landing in Pakistan. These are could be a part of propaganda, could be part of psychological warfare, or could be this kind of information could have been fed by the Iran also to create a difference between America and Pakistan. Anything is possible in this era of cognitive warfare and social media, whatever is fed. However, Afghanistan has agreed that the aircraft was there, and it is quite possible that a couple of military aircraft also could have been there in Afghanistan, which they may not accept. But you are right in that way. Afghanistan is possible. In Pakistan, I have my doubts. Because if this thing comes out true, which Americans will always be able to find out, then I think Pakistan will have no face to have any standing with America. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. I request you to stay on with us because I want to put out some very important timeline and figures that one must know as far as this development, this report is concerned. Let's get my screen going and show you what exactly I'm referring to. On 8th April 2026, let's put this on our screens, please, so that our viewers are aware of the conversation that's happening. On 8th April 2026, US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire with Iran after mediation by Pakistan. Then on 10th April 2026, Iran sent multiple aircrafts to Pakistan's Noor Khan Air Base, including an RC-130. High-level talks, on the other hand, were taking place on the 11th and 12th of April between US and Iran delegations mediated by Islamabad. Three very important aspects and timelines that one should keep in mind. I'd like to go across to Major General Sanjay Soy to get your perspective on that front, because from what I remember, Donald Trump had also praised Mr. Asim Munir for playing a key role in mediation between the US and Iran. He also said that because of Asim Munir, they'd held of strikes that they were planning on doing on Iran. So he will not be happy if these reports are to be true. What do you make of this timeline, in fact?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you're right. One thing is possible. The timelines which you have brought out is the aircraft would have definitely come because the team had to come, and maybe some security elements, some of the initial staff, and whatever documents they wanted to bring, and the certain things they showcased there, they would have been brought on 8th, and rest of the delegation would have come on 10th or 11th. But however, whether they stayed back or they went back, that's a matter of concern. And as you rightly brought out, and I also mentioned earlier, that if this comes out true, I think that Trump is not going to leave. But knowing Pakistan, like what we call it, fitrat of Pakistan, the thought process, this is also possible. But in the present situation, the kind of intelligence hold US has in Pakistan, Pakistan, the kind of surveillance they are able to carry out, I have my doubts if Pakistan would take a risk with this kind of thing, Ashwari.
In your assessment, I want to understand from you, if Pakistan has done what is being claimed in this report, do you think instead of being a mediator, they were essentially shielding Iran while essentially portraying themselves as mediators, as people who want the good, who want a ceasefire? What's your assessment?
I don't fully agree with the report. I agree with the report as far as Afghanistan is concerned, but as far as Pakistan is concerned, I might doubt that Pakistan will risk any spoiling of relationship and with US at this moment, because they are being taken as a best friend. Nasim Munir is being praised by Trump, has been called for lunch, and a lot of help and praises are being bestowed upon Pakistan. At this time, I have my doubt they would like to risk all that with a bit of relationship with Iran. Because the one thing is that Pakistan was also allowed to send ships, oil and all through Strait of Hormuz, and whether they paid the cost by allowing it, but with this dilemma is there. I think I have my doubts that they will do this because their relationship with America, they would weigh much more than supporting Iran at this moment.
Right, absolutely.
And they've been speaking of the language of Trump. Actually, whatever Trump has said, which Iran has blamed them, that whatever they are saying, they are totally siding with America, and the mediation is more or less one-sided. Ashura.
Absolutely, sir. I request you to stay on with us because, of course, your inputs are extremely valuable to us. And there's something else that we want to essentially present to our viewers as we talk about this in great detail. Let's quickly put out what I have over here on my touchpad so that people understand what we're trying to get at, the timelines, what it is that the US is saying, what's Pakistan's position on the same. Well, the US says that US officials have claimed shortly after ceasefire, Pakistan allowed Iran to park military aircrafts at the Noor Khan Air Base. Pakistan's position, on the other hand, is that Pakistan categorically rejected the CBS report as misleading and sensationalized. Number two, the US is now saying that this is viewed as Pak quietly shielding Iranian assets from further US strikes. Pakistan, on the other hand, is saying that the aircrafts arrived to facilitate movement of diplomatic personnel, security teams and administrative staff. The third fundamental factor that we need to look into is that Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has called for a review of re-evaluation of Pak's role as a mediator. Pakistan officials, on the other hand, are saying that Noor Khan is a densely populated urban area. Any large-scale hidden military parking can't be hidden from the public eye. Story has been blown out of proportion. So I'd like to understand from you. They're talking about the Noor Khan Air Base, saying that it's practically impossible to hide a military aircraft over there, given the amount of space that's there, and therefore they're trying to make this argument that this piece that is put out by the CBS is being blown out of proportions, it's misleading and it's sensationalized. What do you make of it?
Yeah, in fact, two, three things. Number one, the aircraft would have come on air, no doubt about it, as a part of preparation for a delegation from Iran, and more aircraft would have come on the day of the meeting. And whether all the aircraft left or some of them stayed back, that's a big question. And as far as keeping them in the open, there are aircraft shelters are there. They could have been kept in the shelter. That is also possible. And third is whether, again, I would say, Pakistan would like to take a risk of their loss of image with US or relationship with US. That's a big question mark, because whatever Asim Munir has been talking the language, what Trump has been telling him, he has been saying whatever has been dictated by them. In fact, Shehbaz Sharif has put a tweet without even amending anything. So all these things have been there, but with this, I have my doubts whether they will allow, or maybe the Americans would have said, okay, with the permission, if these two aircrafts are here, and we'll go through and study and everything, whatever data they have, and that is also possible. But without America's consent, I don't think so. Pakistan would take a risk of holding them back to shelter Iran.
Major General Soy, thank you so much for taking out time, speaking to us on NewsX and answering, many vital questions, amidst this duplicity that's coming to the front. Thank you for your time. All right. On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Thanks for watching.